The major changes in cabinet construction, first of all, is you now have two separate liners between the freezer and the food compartment. You do not have the removable dividers that we've had over the last number of years. The center mullion is no longer removable and no longer has an electric heater behind it. You have a hot gas tube coming up this side, going around your cabinet, and going across your center mullion to create the heat to control the condensation. The food freezer has been made thicker insulation to give us a better R factor. The food compartment itself has stayed relatively the same. The control housing has a major change. As you'll see, it runs from the front to the back of the food compartment instead of the small housing we've had in the past. To drop it down, you have two screws at the front and you have two screws at the back. This is the most common housing that you'll see. After removal of your four screws and dropping down, you're going to have one Molex connector that you'll unplug, and this will allow you to disconnect it from the cabinet harness. You come out, here is your defrost timer, your temperature control, and your light switch. As far as your light socket, it is mounted in the middle of the housing. Some models have a single bulb and some models will have a double bulb. The cap tube from your cold control runs down the side of your housing and into the air diverter. To change the control, of course, it will be necessary to pop the foam block out of the housing. This will allow you to bring your cap tube up out of your housing, remove your heavy plastic sheathing, and you can go ahead and proceed with replacing your temperature control. On the high-energy models, you'll find a difference in the system. The temperature control and light switch remain the same, but you've got an ADC, which is the automatic defrost control, which is scheduling your defrost cycles in accordance with the length of time the defrost heater needs to stay on. This board can be replaced with a timer. You'll notice that you have a plug on here that's the same as your defrost timer plug. You have some additional wires hooked up to this, but the one is simply the power feed wire to supply power to the board, and the other ones come back from your temperature limit switch to monitor how long the heaters stay on. The board also has a built-in vacation mode. Now, two things have to occur to get you into vacation mode. Number one, on your timing sequence, which you can find in your service manual, your heaters have to be on for less than 6 minutes, and the customer has got to not open the door for a 24-hour period. This will throw it into a 72-hour delay between the defrost cycles. To put this into a defrost cycle for testing, what you will need to do is press the light switch 5 times in 6 seconds. This will snap you into a defrost cycle. To bring it out of the defrost cycle, you simply push the light switch 5 times in 6 seconds again, and this will terminate your defrost cycle. Your compressor will start to run immediately. You'll have a 1-minute delay, and your fan motor will start to run. The board has a large relay on it. It's a single-pole, double-throw relay that controls the running of the compressor and the operation of the defrost heaters. Your temperature control is hooked into your center tap, just like it is on your manual defrost timer. Your defrost heaters are hooked here. Your compressor is hooked here. It simply switches the relay back and forth to run your heaters or to run your compressor. You have your neutral wire, you have your door switch hookup, and you have the wire coming back off your limit switch. On some models, you're going to see a change in the routing of the cap tube. It'll still come down the side, but instead of going into the tube on the air diverter, they're going to bring it out of the housing and snap it into retainer clips along the bottom side to give us a little better sensing of the temperature of the air in the compartment itself. On some models where you will have a dual control in the food compartment, in other words, your freezer control and food compartment control will both be located in this housing, what you're going to have is a mechanical device here for your freezer control that will control the opening and closing of the damper, closing off or increasing the air volume from the freezer compartment entering into the food compartment. You'll also see a slight change in the routing of the temperature control bulb in the fact that they are bringing it out of the side of the housing and wrapping it around and under and snapping into the clips. So you'll see a couple small changes in here. This style system can be built with the mechanical timer or the ADC control, depending on whether it's in a high-energy model or a standard model. On models with a single control in the food compartment, you will still have your traditional damper control located in the back of the freezer compartment, where you can turn from colder to warmer, controlling the airflow between the two compartments. There has been a few changes made in the removal of this. Now, I've already removed the 4 screws that hold the evaporator cover on, but what you'll want to do is take the screws out, tip the cover forward, reach over top to the left-hand corner back here, and unplug your main wiring harness. With that wiring harness unplugged, it will allow you to remove the complete evaporator cover, fan motor, and damper assembly in one piece. The panel was designed to have a snap-off chimney, but UL had a little conflict with the wiring harness, so they had us add a couple of additional screws. So to get to your freezer control, it will be necessary to take the 2 screws out of the cover. At that time, you can push in and release your clips, and this will allow you to gain access to your manual damper that controls the airflow into your food compartment.